evening, everybody. This is Adamu from Nigeria Freedom Radio. Today is June 11th, 2018, and time is 8:28 p.m. I will be discussing a very controversial topic, one that has defined and will continue to define mankind's existence. And it is simply the support of government. I intentionally worded the title of this podcast. And really, this is not to grab your attention. There isn't a really nice way to put it, because it's as serious as rape, as stealing, and as murder. So I don't think you will do justice to a rape victim by trying to hide the word rape, or a murder victim by trying to hide the word murder. So this is really, really important. I'm not exaggerating anything. So let me get to the topic. Is government rape? Is there any difference between government and rape and stealing and murder? Well, let's find out. What is a rape? A rape, the difference between a rape and lovemaking is consent. The difference between stealing and me giving you my stuff is consent. When you want to have sex with someone and you don't ask for their consent, they don't consent to you to have sex with them, that is rape. When you take someone else's stuff without their consent, that is stealing. And of course, killing, right? Murder. So, how does government actually falls into this category? Well, the government falls into this category of rape, murder, and stealing in the sense that, or lack of consent in the way we run government. For example, I pay taxes, right? And I do not have a choice where my money gets to be spent. I do not. I do not have a choice to opt out. So, for example, I can go to a store here in the US and say, hey, I'm buying this thing and I do not want to pay the sales tax because I don't feel like it today. Just like charity, right? I don't feel like paying the sales tax. Just don't take my money. First of all, they won't sell it. And if I insist to buy, they will call the police on me. If I try to resist arrest, they will kill me. That's what it boils down to. Really. When you resist to do what the government tells you, you die. So, there's no consent. In Nigeria, for example, if I find gold in my land, it belongs to the government, whether or not I like it. That is really, really important to understand that, to understand this argument. Whether or not I consent to government taking the oil, they will take it. They will take it. If I find gold in my land in Nigeria, they will take it. That is not consent. That is stealing. That falls directly, no difference, with rape, stealing, and murder. And this covers entirely the activities of government. From taxation to regulation to what have you, nothing in government is voluntary. Like charity, for example, right? Charity is completely voluntary. So as trade, when you come and buy something from me with your money, you get to give me your money, I get to give you my stuff. That's completely voluntary. I'm not going to force you to buy stuff from me, whether or not you like that stuff. This is not the same thing with government. I don't own a home, but those people who own a home here in the US have to pay their taxes, their property taxes, to support you and to support the local community, most of which goes to public education. Now, if, for example, I own a home and I need to pay my property taxes, and I say, hey, I'm not going to pay my taxes to support public education because I do not support that you have to force me to pay for the schooling, because I don't like the way you have to make education compulsory. So I don't want to pay. If I tell the government officials that, they will try to get their money. They will come to my door. If I resist arrest, they will shoot me. No consent. There's no, hey, could you please support our school? We need to support if you could. If I want, I would. If I don't, I will not. And they will not come and shoot me. Government doesn't work that way. Completely no consent. Now, you might be asking, well, Adamu, this is democracy. That's how it works. The majority will vote to increase taxes. The minority don't have a choice than to follow. That is the way to do stuff. That is the way the modern system works. I mean, that is the way to progress. You need to have democracy in place to allocate resources. Well, let me ask you, if we voted to cut your leg, does the act of cutting your leg without your consent makes the cutting good to you? Obviously not. So just because more people in a democracy vote to have something done, that doesn't make it right. If we vote to strip you of your property, right, of your money, without your consent, the only reason, the only way we could be able to do that is because we are the majority. Does that make it right? Really, right now, if, I find your friends and I say, hey, we have voted to have you to collect 10% of your paycheck every month. Without your consent, that's whether or not you want to give us. That doesn't make it right. So that's why democracy, which is basically majority voting to make something, doesn't make it right. So just so we are clear on that, just because more people voted, now we know so many atrocities has happened before because of this. Majority wanted something to happen, and it happened. That doesn't make it moral. So democracy is no consent. If I object, if there are 100 of us and 99 of us voted to go to use a certain kind of perfume, and I opted for certain kind of perfume, that doesn't make it right. That does not make it right. So democracy does not solve this dilemma, and that's why it's inherently no different to rape, murder, and stealing. I really, really wish I could support government to work in the interest of wherever government helps, which it doesn't. But personally, I cannot allow myself to do that. Why? Because it's like me saying, it's like raping others to help others. That doesn't make it right. It's immoral. Like, I cannot say I do not support stealing, and in the same sentence say I support government. Those two things are no different. They both involve no consent. When you steal my stuff, you are not asking me. When you use government to regulate me and I don't want it, or to tax me and I don't want it, you are not seeking my consent. So what is the way forward? Well, the way forward is really straightforward. If 99, if there are 10 of us, if 7 of us want a certain kind of perfume, everyone should be able to use the kind of perfume they want. If I want a different kind of perfume, I should be able to use it. Everybody benefits. Everybody gets to use what they want. And you might be wondering, okay, Adamu, how do you help the poor? How do you allocate resources? How do you defend the country? How do you provide police? I don't know. Really, I don't know. All I know is the slaves need to be freed. It doesn't matter. I could care less if whether or not the slaves will get housing, will get jobs. will marry, all of this. I care less about that. I want to free the slaves. Literally, it's like arguing. It's like, let's say, for example, I own slaves, right? And you come to me and say, Adamu, how about you free these slaves? What you are doing is immoral. It's against their consent. You are keeping them against their wishes, no consent. So I say, I really want to release them, but I don't know how they will be able to defend themselves. I don't know how they'll be able to eat. I don't know how to be able to get jobs. Really? So did you? I hope you get the analogy. Whether or not they will get job out of slavery is really secondary. We need to get them freed, and then we can worry about how to deal with them getting jobs, with them marrying. Right? Let's free them first. If you want something optimistic, I'll tell you. History has shown that when people are free, the more freer people are, the more prosperous, and the most likely that they will live in peace. History has shown it. Just look at North Korea and South Korea. The difference is freedom. Same kind of people in terms of culture, lots of similarities between them. But now the difference is freedom. No freedom in the North, more freedom in the South. The same thing with China. China began to ramp up their economic activities because they opened up China. Freedom works even within a communist country. It is undebatable. So I hope that gives you hope about, well, how do we provide police? How do we do this? These things can easily, much more we provided much more cheap, more effectively. All these things, people will be able to provide their own security in all kinds of forms. Maybe schooling will be different. Maybe once you can read and write, you go straight into learning what you want to become. If I want to become a pilot, I can read and write. I've developed some cognitive skills by my age. According to science, I can go directly into learning what I need to do. Maybe it's not going to be, you have to spend 6 years in primary school, 6 years in secondary school, and 4 or more at college or university. Maybe it's not going to be so. We don't have to waste such a time. And the only reason why is so is because of government. Government designs the schooling system. I don't know if you've noticed there are companies right now that they can basically sort of hire you, take you in, teach you how to code, connect you with good companies, you get a job and you pay them. That is the future of schooling. Straight into learning what you need to do. You don't have to go and spend 4 years in a university learning what you are not going to use, wasting your time. The reason I'm saying this is just to give you a glimpse of what freedom just all the good things that we will be able to do to help the poor, make things cheaper, be innovative, improve the quality of lives. It's really amazing what we'll be able to do. But that is really secondary. That is really secondary. We should not concentrate on whether we should not. Nothing should stop us from freeing the slaves. Even discussing what the slaves will do after that. Right? When you see a child, when you see someone taken hostage, I bet the first thing that might come into your mind is, how do you rescue that person? Not, wow, I don't know what this person's life is. How will they survive outside of his captor? Outside the confinement of his or her captor? I bet you will not be there discussing that, wasting time trying to figure out what they will do when they are released, when they are free. You will probably, and I hope that's what you will do, start thinking, how do I get them free? They need to be free. They need to be free. That is literally what this debate is about. I'm not here to tell you that I know how to organize, I know what the future of policing is, or what the future of defense is. No, I do not. I can't tell you that because I don't know. Anything can change. Anything can change when people are free. But what I know is we need to free ourselves from the slavery of government. Government is immoral. Do you support rape? Do you support stealing? Do you support murder? Those things are not different from the state. Literally, those are not different. The state is a compulsory marriage. Freedom is voluntary marriage. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to support rape? It's up to you. I'm not telling you what to do. But just so you understand what you are supporting or not supporting. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy what I said on this podcast, please forward it, share it. If you have any criticism about what I say, comment. I can feature you on this podcast, and let's get talking. This is Nigeria Freedom Radio. My name is Adamu. Thank you for listening.